poor, isn't it? Sindio? Yeah, let's be modest people. Yes, we are living in the world. In John chapter number 17, our Lord Jesus Christ, he made a prayer to the Father for his disciples. And he said, I know they are living in the world, but do not take them out of the world. I pray that they may persevere. I pray that they may not be conformed, as Paul is telling us. So there are patterns. There are way people are talking in the world. There are the way people speak. There are the way people pray to God. There are the way people do in the world at large. But Paul is telling us as Christians, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, do not be conformed into the patterns of the world, but rather be transformed. This is what the writer of the song says. God, when you are coming to the world and transform people, do not pass me by. Up and down. Can we be able to worship God here inside? No, it's not possible, isn't it? How will the Spirit of the Lord live in a defiled temple? Umeamuka usiku badala ya kuomba uko kwa pornographic movies. And today Sunday you are coming to say, Lord, I need you. Yes, you need him. Lord, I love you. See, that's a defiled temple, isn't it? So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about is we are supposed to be transformed by the way we think. You know, your life, the way it is the way you are thinking. It's the way you are thinking. You see the way you are dressed, yeah, is how you thought. Ni vile ulifikiria kuvaa. Na ukaona hiyo haifaidi ukatoka vaa. Sasa vile umevaa na unaonekana you are very presentable. Sababu gani? Maana mind ilifanya kazi, si ndio? So Paul is warning us today. Then was the church of Romans, but today it is us, the PefaPipelineCommunityChurch, and anyone who is a believer in our generation today. We are being warned by the Apostle Paul never to be conformed by the patterns of this world, but rather we be transformed. Yeah, transformation is important. Transformation is taking something and transforming it into a certain look, or into a certain shape, or into a certain measure. That is what we call transformation. A story is told of a king who lived in an African nation. A king who lived in an African nation, okay? This king had his family, and his family had only one child who was a boy. Okay? So one day, the king and the queen, they decided to leave the country for a vacation, for a holiday. Okay? And they expected their son to come and welcome them back from the airport. Are you following me? So the son had a friend who was a lady. And this lady, she came from a very poor family, but she was in the township. And in the township, she was employed as a house help. As a house help. But luckily or coincidentally, she met a man who loved her. And this man happens to be the prince. The prince. So now the king is coming back with his queen. They are now in the airport, and the son takes the friend to the airport. Not well dressed, but the prince doesn't care, because she's not interested in the dress. She's interested with the person. So he went to the airport, greeted his father, hugged him, hugged the mother, and the mother asked, "Who is this with you?" And he said, "This is my friend." And right at that moment, the mother insulted that girl because of how she looked. The hair was unkempt. The dress was not to the standard. Okay? She could not afford some perfumes. She couldn't do all those things. But the mama queen, she took all those big and dirty words and insulted that girl. That ended, they entered into a car and went home for a dinner into the king's palace. And the prince came together with his girlfriend. And they sat at the dining table. And the mama started again. You cannot bring this unkept, dirty friend of yours in the presence of the king. She's not saying in my presence, in the presence of the king. It's not possible. And she said, the lady, wake up and go to the servant quarters. When the food we've eaten, the leftovers, shall be served unto you while you are at the servant quarters. And the lady woke up crying and left that home. And the prince, you know what prince did? He followed the girl. He followed the girl to where she went, where she was employed as a house help. And while there, she comforted her. He told her, it is not about my mother. It's about the two of us. But nevertheless, I'm sorry for the insult that my father talked about you. You are not that person. I love you the way you are. I like you the way you are. And come rain, come sunshine, you are mine. You are mine. And I promise you, you are my friend. And she said, it is okay. So it went like that, until the queen decided to go to the family that employed this girl as a house help. And she went there with a lot of money. And said, we are giving you this money so that this girl can be taken to the village. So that my son will stop seeing her. Are you following my story?
Yes.
And she went to that family and they agreed. They will lie to the prince whenever she comes to that home that unfortunately the girl fell ill and died. But it was all a lie. So the princess came the following week to visit. And immediately at the gate, the watchman began to cry. I said, what's the matter? I said, oh, no, your friend. Which friend? And I said the name of the friend. It was Uli. Uli fell sick last week and died. And my boss, they have taken her to the village for burial. And the princess broke into cry, into mourning. He don't know where the place is. And he went back to the palace. When the gate was open, he fell there and began to cry. You know how people cry when they are mourning for their beloved who have died, isn't it? With a loud cries that took attention of the king and the queen. And they came, and the house attendants. And they were requested to take the king to his room. And after he was asked, what is the issue? It is Uli. What about Uli? Uli has died. And they have told me they have taken her to the village for her burial. Immediately when he gathers his courage, he went back home and found the employers and told them, I know that Uli is dead. Okay? I want you to direct me to their home village in order I can pay my last respect to her, so that her spirit can rest into the world of the spirit in peace. And the prince was told, where they live, you can never go there. Okay? And he was told all manner of direction that would look confused in order for him not to go to see that particular girl, because the family was not interested with that particular people that can mingle together with them in their palace. And the prince asked the last question, do people survive in that particular village? And I told, they survive because they are farmers. They live in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the mountain. They can never move in or up because they're surrounded with the mountains. So he was confused in such a way he cannot go and see her friend. Then luckily, you know God does miracles, isn't it? So Princess took his bag and all the clothes he does not need, and took all these clothes to the watchman. And he told them, all these clothes are yours because I no longer need them. I no longer use them. And if you find them not useful to you, you can sell them and make money, and you can do something for your own. And the princess, when he was going back to the car, the watchman told him, please wait. there is something I've always wanted to tell you. But how I tell you, I don't know. But there's something I have always wanted to tell you. And he begged, please don't be angry with me. Please do not be angry with me. I said, say it how you say, you're my friend, say it. And he said, oh, it is my Oga. Did what? They told me to lie to you that Uli is dead. Uli is not dead, she's living. Hallelujah. If it were you, how would you feel? Jumping around, eh? That's William. And you? Yes, we all jump around and feel happy and good because the truth has come. And the watchman told the prince, please let no one hear of thee. He went home running like a mad person to the mother. How dare you? How can you do this? All manner of things. Or maybe I don't understand. My son, you are speaking in fables. Kindly speak a language I will know. And he told his mother, mother, Uli is alive. Uli is? And the prince went to his room, gathered every cloth he wanted, and packed it, and took all the money he had in that homestead, and left for the village. And he told the watchman, tell me how to go about there. Yes, it was complicated, but finally he led it to the place and found his Uli and hugged the Uli, and they cried together. The king realized that he has lost a son, and he went back to the home that employed this young girl as a housemaid, and he requested them to take him as a king to that village. When they got there, he found the son and the girl. They can never be separated. And he told the father, if you have come to take me into the township, kindly know I have found my place. I have found my own in this place. I am going to sleep here. I will buy my own land here. I will die here, and I will transform this community because I am now one of this community. And he asked the son, son, tell me what you want, and it shall be done. And the son said, I want you to accept Uli as my wife. And the king asked the son, is that all? No, it's not all. I want you to rent an apartment in the township where we will keep her and the mother. And the king said, consider it done. Done. And the prince assured the father, you go, because the king has come with so many cars into the village. He told the king, leave one car for me. So that when we are coming, it will be easy for us to come to the township. And the father took all his bodyguards, but left one car for the son. When he came to the village, he rented a house for this girl and the yama. And he said, Daddy, don't let mama know of this. Okay? And said, she will not know about it. So what did the prince do? The prince hired an English teacher. Are you following me? He hired an English teacher who will teach the mother how to speak a pure English, and the daughter, they speak a good English, and to be taught about the life etiquette. Life etiquette is how to handle, like the manner of life. Kama unaenda kwa hoteli kubwa, how you should eat. Because now she will be mingling with big people. How she should dress when she is around big people or the people of that caliber. And it took almost 6 months. 6 months. And the prince came home and told Mama, I have decided to forget about Uli. And now want to move on with my new love. But they changed the name of Uli into Lillian. So now Lillian is presented to the mother with respect. You know the transformation, the mtoto mshamba mwenye hako anajua kuoga, ameogeshwa, amefundishwa kupaka mafuta mazuri, good lolos, good perfumes, nice dresses. The face is looking nice because the prince has taken